Hey everybody, Shiny Sephiroth here, and I am showing you this display right here, what it looks like right now. And yeah, so you see there's some issues, things have fallen, but we have a lot of things that we're going to be adding to it. And I just want to show you a before and how things are going to be looking in this display here during the course of this video. So I'm very excited to be able to go over with you all. And yeah, let's dive right in. All right, it has been a few weeks since I recorded the intro to this video, and I am excited to finally show what I was able to do. We'll start off here with the Fantastic Four shelf. To continue the whole Deadpool Wolverine motif, I started the Fantastic Four Wolverine over here next to my Herald Deadpool and connected him to Spider-Man over there, which would segue into the Fantastic Four. For those who were able to notice, I took out the third team that I had here for the Fantastic Four, partially due to space, but also so that I could do something else with that team that I am really excited to show you all in just a moment. You can segue over to here. We have this Marvel Select Human Torch. I think looks beautiful, and I put him right next to the Select Iceman, and I just think together they look fantastic. And that is the segue into the X-Men display. So there's a little bit of a difference what it looked like before seen here. And now we can see a little more organized and a sneak peek into what's going on over there. I'm thinking that I want to shift these over a little bit, make it more in line, or just right here in this gap, get the blue suit version of Warren, of Angel, and put that there to be the segue. I wasn't able to quite get it aligned like I have for the rest of the display, like, oh, first suit, second suit, whatever, or as close to it as possible. But yeah, I just, that gap there. But yeah, and we'll go back to what's going on over there in a second, but we'll shift over to here. Wasn't huge into X-Men comics, so anybody in the comments, please correct any mistakes I may have had. But I put in here what I believe are the X Factor and New Mutant teams. I believe that there's been some variances over the years, but yeah, this is the best approximation at my knowledge, and a little bit of Google searching was able to tell me. And then we have a segue into a Phoenix display, and I know that Rachel this isn't her Phoenix form, but this black hole form that she got in one of the comics where she absorbed a whole bunch of people's powers to stop a huge threat. And no, for me, it kind of approximates a Phoenix form, so I put that up there. There's this blank hole there for the inevitable white Phoenix that's going to come out, so that's where that's going to go. And honestly, I don't know if I'll put the white Phoenix in the middle and shift the green to the side. That's, not sure what I'm going to do there yet. And then I put Madeline Pryor as Goblin Queen up there because, it's kind of similar, and it's like a Jean Grey kind of thing. There you have that. We have Master Mold. So I'm really excited to get the Haslab Sentinel, open him up, and add him to the display. And I made a makeshift throne for him, and he's sitting down there. And I think it looks pretty cool. I'm going to add some black construction paper or maybe print out some stuff to make it look like a throne. But with how many toys are surrounding it, it's really hard to tell what the throne is made of anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. And when I fill things out, and like this one definitely is going to get some black construction paper to blank that out. But this is what it's looking like at the moment. And then I went ahead and I measured it out. That should work. I might have to bump up those other Sentinel adjacent characters slightly in the next 10 months or so, because I also mapped things out so that right here we'll go 2 of the X-Men 97 Sentinels and then 2 more on the other side. So he'll be flanked by some Sentinels, and I think it'll look really cool. Here's what that's looking like right now. with that X-Men display. Oh yeah, and then you see over here, it's X-Factor suit for Cyclops, but the incoming Jean Grey with the green suit, I'm gonna put her next to him. And I don't know if I'm gonna shift all these people to the back and put them on a riser and have him in the front, or put him and Jean on a riser and put him in the front. I have to see how it works out. I also think that I'm gonna put like Strongman and some of the other guys back here on a riser. They're still a little short, a little too short for what I want, but you know, it's a work in progress. But we're not done yet. So anyway, here's how that's looking as well. I think it looks really cool. I'm gonna zoom out a bit here. Yeah, that's better. Still haven't put up my my cosmic beings. They're up there. I just haven't displayed them yet. But yeah, here's how that's turning out. I think it looks really cool. And but yeah, about that third team that I was talking about. I used to have a third team that was put up here. Well, I moved them down to here. Why did I do that? So I could do this. Introducing my new animated 90s universe shelf. So there's that Cable that you guys saw the other day. I went and I added him. And I decided to keep the Toy Biz Cable here for now. I can't wait for the new Professor X to come out, or the re-release of the Legends Professor X. And yeah, so I went ahead and I got the new Phoenix. I put her up on display here. If you see here, this is the old Phoenix body, but I switched out the Celine Dion head that she had, and I put in the new head, and I thought that looked better, or at least more approximate to the Phoenix I have in my head. But yeah, and so we see here we got Madeline on one side, Jean on the other, and I put Jean next to Wolverine just because that triangle thing they got going on. And I put, what do you think? Black leather version of Cable. I know a lot of people would put him at the Marvel vs. Capcom, but you know, I rarely played the game as a kid. I never had I don't know if it was on Sega Genesis or SNES. During the first half of the 90s, all I had was a Nintendo Entertainment System, and in the latter half of the 90s, I had a PlayStation. So I missed out on a lot of the fun stuff that you guys all had, people who are around my age. So I never really got too much nostalgia for Marvel vs. Capcom. And so I saw all those suit designs and everything, and a lot of people thought MVC, but I thought, hey, animated series, which we go over to here. I mean, for me, that suit is the 90s animated Tony Stark. My first introduction to Iron Man. Yeah, I love the 90s animated universe. They're the ones who, a lot of my Marvel nostalgia and whatnot comes from that universe. So being able to have a display like this and have these guys up here just is really cool. One day I'll upgrade these two. But yeah, the Colossus I have, with his size, Colossus is supposed to be huge, and so I love this Marvel Select. It's my definitive favorite version of Colossus. And just because he's so much taller than the Legends, I think it really looks cool and scales well because of how big Colossus is supposed to be. So anyway, back here. Not to spend too much more time on this part of the display, I just really love it a ton. Even the Fantastic Four, I hope that we can get a Fantastic Four She-Hulk. She would go right in with here because my memory is that she, in the animated universe, I believe she did join them for a time. I might be misconstruing it with like a video game that came out during that time. I know in the comics she did, but I could have sworn she suited up with them for the animated universe. And if she did, over here on the left side of your screen, that screenshot will pop up. For those of you who remember, this cameoed in the hangar that they had on, oh man, I forget the name of the island. Not Krakoa, is it? I don't know. The island that they went to at the end of season 1 of X-Men 97. If you look in the hangar, Wolverine's motorcycle from the toy line was there. So that same day I went and I nabbed this, and it wasn't a ton of people, but there was an uptick of people buying this around that time. And that had fallen, so I put him back. Yeah, and so we got the whole thing here. Before we go on to the next bottom shelf, I'm going to go over here, move that door. So here we got this display over here. This is basically a whole bunch of X-Men characters who I don't quite have. It's kind of like the Misfit X-Men toys I have. Yeah, so I have the Cuckoos over here. While I was moving things around, unfortunately, this one in the middle, the blonde, she fell, and because, you know, things happen the way they do, both of her little magic things flew off of her hands, and they're here somewhere in this mess of a floor, so I'll have to find that later. And actually, I'm looking down, I see one of them right now. Anyway, I'll put that on later. And I have Moira McTaggart and one of her reincarnations back there, and then I have a Sentinel. Got the Marvel Select Cable. I think it looks really cool, scaled up here next to Deadpool. Got the Marvel Select Wolverine and Marvel Select Psylocke. And I do have a Marvel Legends Bishop that I'm going to be adding to here, but I'm saving him for a special video for a future date. And now coming down to here, I have this black and white team for X-Men. I love having them here and having them together. I do think that, I don't know, I'm torn about leaving them as their own separate thing just because of real estate. But on its own, I really love having them together. I think they look great. And same thing with the Age of Apocalypse team. I think they look great together. Cool to highlight them, but that's a lot of real estate for one team, so I'm considering doing something about that. And then there is this shelf down here that is for evil Dark Avengers and whatnot, dark versions of them. But that is going to be changing here very soon, so stay tuned. Then we have over here my updated X-Men villains display. I had a couple of extra Phoenix figures that I wanted to pop up there to make sure that the villainous versions got in there. I love this Marvel Select Apocalypse. And I just kind of like having this different variants of him all around the animated universe and then the Age of Apocalypse. We got Omega Red here. I got him recently. And I had to leave this version of Morpheus just because that's the Morph I remember from the animated version. I didn't like the design change they made for him in X-Men 97. And then the Marvel Legends version didn't quite capture what he looked like in the animated version. So I left that there. Then, yeah, so we got this. I think it all looks pretty cool. I like how the display is fleshing out and got these two tucked here in the back. Then I got a general villain display here. There's some more that I need to add, and that's going to be for a future video. But here's just a sneak peek of what everything's going on down here. And you can see I do have some lighting here, but I don't recommend this lighting. It burns through batteries like crazy. I do have some wired LED stuff that I'm going to be setting up instead. So yeah, apologies for it being so dark in this video. But yeah, I have some other figures that I'm going to be adding to this display here soon. And yes, I did have my Doctor Doom display set up this way before the Robert Downey Jr. announcement. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, heck yes. Oh, no. I was like, heck yes. Yeah, let's put Doctor Doom up front and center. So really excited about that. And then the rest of my like miscellaneous villains, like henchmen and stuff over there, other like humanoid villains over here, and going more into the more wacky, bizarre, supernatural villains, and yeah, so doing all that, and that's what we got on the display. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for coming by here and being a part of the channel and for your patronage. Really appreciate it. Make sure to comment so you can be enrolled in giveaways. Make sure to subscribe if you want us to get to those next milestones. We have some future videos coming up that are going to have those promised giveaways, as well as updates for the channel when it comes to different toys that are going to be added to the display. I'm really excited for the coming ones. But one more peek over here at what we have going on. And some big changes over here to that section are coming soon. But thank you once again. I'll see you in the next video. I think it'll look really cool. Whoa, whoa. Almost died. Okay. I think it'll look really cool. So yeah.